Right, I'm just getting ready to remove the timing side crankcase, and there are 9 bolts that hold the timing side crankcase on to the central crankcase. There were 9 bolts and studs and nuts, so it's always good to go through and have a little count on the bench to make sure you've got 9. You've got 2 nuts, one there, and one there, and the tops. Then you've got an Allen key there, and you've got bolts all the way around, one back there, okay, and up to there, and then you should have another Allen key here. But as you might be able to see, that's what's called the remains of an Allen bolt. It's not quite sure. I think it was probably someone, I'm guessing someone tried to undo it with a wrong size Allen key, and so they rounded it, and so I think what it looks like they've done is they tried to cut a slot in it to make it fit a standard screwdriver. So I'm hoping that's not done up too tight. Anyway, so I'm just going to unscrew those. I'm going to remove those 9 bolts and nuts, and hopefully this one on the right will also undo, and then we should be ready to take the timing side casing off. I've also all the con rods are now I've wrapped them all in tape, and also I've still got the rag round them. Okay, but I'm going to take these nuts off first, and then we'll take it from there. Now, I managed to remove all the bolts, including this little nasty one, which is indeed the remains of an Allen head on that bolt, but at least it did come undone eventually. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bolts and nuts there, so I know that they're all out. So now we're going to see if we can prise the timing case away from the center casing. And to do that, we're going to use a very interesting method of a pry bar, otherwise known in my case as a large screwdriver, and a lump hammer. And what I'm doing is I'm going to just put the screwdriver down between the edge of the crankshaft, the flywheel, and the side of the casing, and that's why I've treble checked that all the bolts are out, because you don't want to be doing this and finding out you've still got a bolt done up. And just gently, very gently, there we go, and away she comes, just like that. Doesn't take much force, just needs a bit more. If it's requiring force, then you know there's something wrong. Just protect that con rod. And now we come with the camshafts, and then there the camshafts come out. You don't have to worry about mixing up the camshafts, because of course the exhaust camshaft has got a hole in the end for the advance and retard, and the inlet hasn't. They come out, there are keys on the end where the pinions go that we removed earlier on, and they can stay there. And here we have the timing side casing removed. So I can now knock through from the inside. I can knock that intermediate drive pinion shaft out. Good, good, good. Right, we're now going to see if we can repeat the feat with the drive side crankcase, removing this side from the central crankcase. This side is a bit different because we have 8 bolts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's okay, but we have the very large drive side main bearing here. And unlike on the timing side main bearing is in 2 parts. So that's why I took that off first, because it just slides straight off. The outer bearing stays in the timing case, the inner race stays on the crankshaft. On the drive side it's all one race, and the whole race needs to come off as one over the shaft, and sometimes it doesn't want to do that. So this side can be a bit harder. So first of all I'm going to remove these 8 mounting bolts. Okay, I've removed all the bolts, but this time I've only got 7 on the bench. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because the 8th bolt is this one. Okay, and it will not come out past the tack drive. Right, so we're using the same technique. We have our pry bar here, down in between the side of the crankshaft and the inside of the casing. Gentle tap, yep, straight off. Oh, that's good. And I was saying I was worried about this main bearing. It's slid off the shaft straight away, which is good, although slightly worrying, and you think it might have been spinning, but it doesn't appear to have been spinning. That's good. All looking good, no problems there, all nice. So briefly, can you see this? Yeah, so that is the anti-drain valve there, and this is the oil pressure release valve if the oil pressure gets too high, which I think is marked at 70 on that. Okay, obviously we'll be stripping all this down, taking the bearing out and taking the tacho drive out and so on later on. Right, so our next job is to remove the crankshaft from the central crankcase. Now to do that we remove the 2 central main bearings. There are 4 main bearings on a Trident crankshaft. There are 2 roller bearings, one there and one there, that go in the timing side and the drive side crankcases, and they're roller bearings. And then there are 2 plain main bearings in this center crankcase, and it's these that we need to remove the caps so we can lift the crankcase out, and these are plain main bearings. We'll come to this later on, but they are marked D and T for drive side and timing side, so they can't get mixed up, and they are numbered to make sure that the right caps go with the right engine and so on. So what we're going to do is all the nuts that hold the main bearing caps down, I've got lock washers on, so we're going to bend those lock tabs away and then undo these 4 nuts. Right, so I've removed the lock tab washers and I've got the Mega Blaster, and so I'm going to remove these 4 nuts. Undo them just a touch at a time. Yeah. There's one trying to get away. Okay. So we've taken the nuts off. And now I've just got to try and persuade them just to let go a bit, the main bearing caps. Right, I've just tapped the crankshaft and the caps with a rubber mallet, and so they're both free. I can take them off. I don't have to worry about mixing them up because they are stamped, drive side, timing side, and the lettering faces forwards. Right, caps are off. The next thing we've got to do is to remove one, and in fact we're probably going to remove both of these studs on the timing side, because we can't get the crankshaft out without removing these. Okay, I've taken those two studs out of the central case now, so we should be able to lift the crankcase out. Okay, let's try. Okay, let's see if we can lift out now. There we go. Out we come. Pop it down there, not damaging anything. And there we have the crankshaft out. And just to mention that if you want any more detailed information about what's on the videos, then there is the workshop manual that goes alongside the videos, and that covers restoring the whole bike, not just the engine. And that's available from all good booksellers around the world. You can just put my name, Chris Rook, into the search bar, like Amazon search bar or wherever, and it should come up.